that number. That number really is so important. So just one of those things that we've talked about over the course of the last year, that we can troubleshoot a little bit of that for our parents and students. Do that right away, just in case, as a fallback.
Thank you. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just so excited. This is a really big deal, and I'm really excited for the new coming students. I'm excited for this audition process. This is such a great reminder of how amazing the school is and how many talented people are out there. And so I get really excited about this. So I'm Jim Cliff. This is Marty Loftus. We are the Visual Arts Department. Got a little ahead of myself there. Okay, so back to the website here. This walks you through a lot of this information on here. The one thing that I do want to point out as you scroll down towards the bottom, and this is a really important thing for you, is the School of Choice application. This is something you have to do on your own. This isn't something that we do as the Visual Arts Department. This is on your end, and I'm sure you guys have done this before, but it has a link on here. It has all the dates on here. It opens January 15th and closes February 18th. And there's the link, and this allows you to choose your school of choice. So please make sure that's something that you read through and correctly do that application. And that's all on that website as well. So that's the main homepage for DSA's audition process. If you then, you can come up to Visual Arts, and this will bring you to our portion of the audition process. And again, there's information on here about the directors, about some of the dates on here. Here's the pre-audition meeting we're at right now. Preview dates, hopefully all of you guys get to come through, check the building out, take the tours. Here is the audition dates. Saturday, January 25th is the first audition. This is the drawing audition where every student, when you leave here today, you'll get your time and your audition number, and this is for that date. We also have our accommodations. Any students with IEPs or special accommodations, we do have to have the paperwork for that in a week before the audition. Okay, and then here's where all the specifics are. So we're gonna click on this. So this is the audition information flyer, and this will allow you to just download that information. Zoom out. Okay. So through here, this is accessible. All of you can do this from a computer, from your phone. You should be able to open these up and look at this information. So if you can't see this, or if you, when you get home, you want to look at this or print this out, all of you have access to this, hopefully. So this gives us, again, the audition dates. Some of the audition requirements here. So again, you'll have your audition number, you'll get your audition time tonight, and then for the first drawing, I'm skipping ahead here. Again, you must know your audition number. We won't be able to give that to you at a later date. So again, please write it down, take a photo of it, remember that number. And then the next thing on here is the teacher recommendation form. And so I'll go back to that when we get through this, because there's a separate tab for that gives you that form. The teacher recommendation, it says on here it is due on Wednesday 22nd. It also says on the form Tuesday, January 21st. So there's a little discrepancy there between the two things. Either one of those is fine. In fact, as long as it gets here before Friday of that week, on the 24th, it's fine, because you're dealing with the Postal Service. So there's a little bit of leeway there. But we have to have it before the audition on Saturday. So as long as it's here on Friday, we can file that bulk paperwork. So don't worry. And there's a little discrepancy between Wednesday and Tuesday. Don't stress about that. We can be flexible in that. There's an issue with the website there, so don't worry. But that form, whoever you're using for your teacher recommendation, please make sure you give them this form. They have to use this specific form. Give them a stamped envelope that they can send this to Denver School of the Arts, Visual Arts Department. And please make sure that you get that to them as soon as possible. because it's a quick turnaround. There's only, we only have till the 24th is really that last day that we can accept those then. So please make sure you get that to them as soon as possible and remind them. Don't just give it to them and don't think about it again. Maybe check up with them, say, hey, did you get a chance to send that in? Just in case they forgot. There's always someone at last minute, a teacher trying to get this here to us. Just remind them. Okay, so that's your teacher recommendation. The first audition portion of this on that Saturday is going to be the drawing audition. And for that, there's two parts to it. One is a still life, and the other one is a creative prompt. You don't need to bring anything with you. We'll supply you all with the same pencil. We'll supply you all with the same eraser. We'll supply you with paper. And you all have the same amount of time. All right, so you're going to have a still life to draw from. And I'm going to read you some of the things that we're looking for during that process. So the creative, the still life drawing, what we're looking for is that you're using the entire page, your ability to record the shapes and sizes that you're seeing, your shading or your use of value, textures and line, the ability to follow the instructions, your ability to draw real objects that you're looking at, your ability to focus the entire session. You're going to have 40 minutes to draw. It's the biggest still life. It's huge. We put all kinds of objects together, and you'll be able to pick objects. We want you to select objects that are together, so don't pick and choose random things all over the still life, but work with what's right in front of you, and use your entire time. You should be drawing that entire 40 minutes. And looking for maybe some individual style or technique as well. The second portion of that is a 20-minute creative drawing prompt. And what we're looking for there is your ability to problem solve or solve the creative prompt, how you go about doing that, self-expression or your own personal voice, how you handle this, what you came up with versus other people. Looking for originality, and again, still looking for drawing skill.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Number one, first of all, as Mr. Cliff mentioned, we're going to supply all the materials. In fact, we really don't want you to bring any materials you won't be able to use them. We want to make sure that in terms of the things that we're using during the audition, we are on a level playing field as far as that's concerned. So please make sure, don't bring anything. Don't bring any drawing materials, you won't need them. You won't be able to use them at that time. As you mentioned, there's really two parts of that. It's really two parts that we focus on through our curriculum all the way from 6th grade through 12th grade, and that is the ability to draw from observation. So we really truly are looking for observational drawing and the ability to creatively problem solve. So those are the two big things. And they're things that most of you probably enjoy and do all the time, or you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I know it can be stressful. Everyone's a little worried about what they should be doing, and if this is the right fit, then you're gonna come in, you're gonna just draw for an hour, and have fun. You should have fun. This is like the best. If you take it as a test, this is the best test you should ever take. It's just have fun. I want you to come in, be excited. Don't be stressed out of it. If you're stressed, you're not really drawing the way you normally draw. Just come in and draw. I know how stressful that can be, but we really want you to have fun with it and do the best you can.
And again, we're not going to see you there, so be aware of that. But we have some amazing parent volunteers. They're all super friendly, they're all super wonderful, and some proctors who have worked here before, are close with the department, and they'll help lead you through that process. So don't be surprised when you don't see us there, familiar faces, but we're going to put some really wonderful people in those positions.
On that day of the drawing, please get there a little early, whether it's traffic. We've had a really, pretty lucky weather lately. Hopefully we can keep that up to where there's not a snowstorm, or you're stuck trying to get there. But try to be there. I would definitely suggest being there 10 minutes early so you can check in, relax for a second. All right. If you do come in late, we can't give you any more time. So you're only losing time if you show up late. So please be there on time. Be there early. And ready to go. After that, a whole day is over and everything has been scored, and we'll be posting the audition results. That'll be posted on our website by noon, Tuesday, January 28th. And you will then have your interview and portfolio review date and time on there as well. Okay, this year we're going to be using 2 different weekends for that. We typically have been able to do it one weekend in the past, but this year we'll have to do 2 weekends. So it'll be February 1st and February 8th, and that's also, yeah, it's right here. So those are the 2, and of those days, you'll have an appointment on one of those days if you are in the callback. So you'll have to check the website for that. Again, I know a lot of people are anxious and they want to know if, when it's going to be posted, and the information, the office, if you call the school, the office won't have that information. Only we have that information, and as soon as we have it, we post it on the website. So don't call early to try and see if they know it, because no one in the office will know that information or be able to give that to you. It only will be available through the website. So just kind of be patient and check that website on Tuesday at noon for this information there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that next step for the callback interviews. So we really don't know any numbers. It's difficult because we can't tell you exact numbers. We don't know how many spots are available. The administration tells us that later on. So, but we can say it's about approximately 50% of applicants will get called back for an interview. And so that's sort of the number to think about. That callback process, once you come in, once you get a callback appointment, that day you're going to bring in some artwork, and you're going to have a panel of Mr. Loftus, myself, and we have a few other guest artists who will be joining us, and you're going to show us your artwork. We're going to ask you some questions about your artwork, and you're going to just tell us some stuff about your work. It's really kind of a low pressure. We just want to hear what you have to say about your artwork. We want to see what you're doing, maybe why you like this piece, what you thought about doing this piece here. So let's talk about the portfolio you're going to bring in a little bit there. So you'll have about 10 minutes to show us your portfolio. And when we say portfolio, we're talking about your body of work. So we'd like you to select about 8 to 10 pieces of your best work, and we suggest it be your most recent work. Okay, don't dig back 3-4 years ago. Okay, we're really looking for something in the last year that's going to really represent what you're doing right now. Okay.
I'll say too, I think that's great that Mr. Cliff said portfolio is a body of work. We don't care necessarily how you bring that work. You don't need to have a $90 beautiful portfolio case to bring. We don't care. Right? What we really are interested in is the work that you've done and the way that you can talk about your work. So please don't worry about that. We just want to see what you've done. We want to hear you talk about your work and hear that you're passionate about this and that this is someplace that you want to be.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the work that you bring in, hopefully it's pieces that you like. We'd like to see a variety of things you've done. If you have 3D work, if it's not easy to bring in, you can take pictures of it and show us pictures. I also like to see sketchbooks. Like, that's something that I really enjoy seeing. So if you're someone who just draws on sketchbooks all the time too, that could be one of the pieces you bring in. I think that says a lot about an artist, the way they work, what their thought process is. Even if it's sort of just like these doodles and sketches, and this is what I do when I'm riding in the car on the way to school in the morning, or on my hour-long bus ride. Or if you're just someone who can't stop drawing and you're working in a sketchbook, I want to see that. I want to see what you're doing in your free time, not just what school projects are, or these real pieces of artwork. I also want to see what you do in your sketchbook. So don't be afraid to bring that in as well.
So it does mention on here too, if you read that, that artwork in the portfolio should be original and not derivative of existing comics, characters, photographs, things like that. We have a large pool of applicants who love working with anime and manga and things like that, and we have a lot of students here who still enjoy those things, and it's a great tool for learning processes, absolutely. that doesn't tell us a tremendous amount about who you are as an artist and how you think. Right? So what I would say is if you have maybe an example or two of something like that that you really love and you want to show us, that's great, right? But that should not make up a portfolio because that really doesn't tell us a whole lot about, again, what you're really truly capable of as an artist.
Yeah, and I know for myself, I like to see what you can do. I want to see what your original thoughts are. I want to see what your creativity looks like. I want to see something I've never seen before. That's what's exciting for me about the audition process, is the idea that these are all these people who want to be here, and I get to see what they're doing, what they're making, what they have to offer. And so I want to see something I've never seen before. So try to challenge yourself to bring in something that's completely unique, that's going to really just, kind of knock our socks off. So, I don't know. Never used that expression before, I'm sorry. But I tried it tonight. Okay, so that's sort of what the portfolio looks like. And really what you bring is up to you. Bring things that you are really proud of, things you really like, but try to have a variety of things too. And again, the accommodations for 504 and IEP, any students that need any of those accommodations, please make sure we have that on file with our principal 1 week before that audition date. So those are on here several places. Okay, so that is, let me get out of here for a second. So that was the audition information flyer. That is on the website. You can open that, you can download that, you can print that out. You can carry that around with you for the next 2 weeks, memorize all that. And then the other thing that's right below that here is the letter of recommendation form. And I'll click on that. And that downloads right here. And this is the form that you print out and give this to your teacher who's going to recommend you for this, okay? And there are 2 of those that need to go out to teachers and get sent in, okay? So that's all right there on the website, okay?
So I'm going to touch very briefly. What happens if I don't get in? So this is actually probably a good question to be addressing even early on. We want to make sure that there's a pretty clear understanding of the number of students that we have here at DSA and the number of students that we have as applicants. So I think last year for incoming 6th graders we had 120 applicants. And to put that into perspective, we had about 15 spots available for incoming 6th graders. The truth is, DSA is a small school. It's a small program. And we'd love to grow this, and there's talks about in some ways that we can do that. But as it is right now, the decisions in terms of the number of students who we can take at DSA isn't up to us. That's dictated by our administration. And it's the number of students that we can accommodate to our capacity with the school, not just in our program, but with their academics as well. So we are limited. We'll make our recommendations and they'll tell us this is how many students you can take. I will say last year, out of that 120 students, knowing that we could take 15, we probably had 50